You know, once I actually had a real job. I did theater lighting, lighting design, sold lighting. I even did a lot of rock and roll. Apparently it's changed now, but does Denver still have a music scene? From Westword, Katie Moulton, thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And I know nobody reads the Denver Post, but if you did, Dylan Owens worked on the Reverb section.
I beg to differ, sir.
Well, your mom, and that's good.
And she actually clicks every article 10 times, so
that's good.
It boosts our readership a lot.
You know, if she got that little, that old bird that did this thing,
it's a good call.
Think about it.
I'll tell her about it.
All right. Now, when I was doing lights, there was a vibrant music community, rock and roll groups. So, from the Samples to Big Head Todd to all sorts of groups, and then even some wild bluegrass stuff that came out of Colorado. Let me ask the youngins, what's hip in Denver now?
Well, a lot of kids our age, like Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats, I think they're kind of blowing up right now. They've been on a world tour.
They're blowing up nationally too.
Internationally, yeah. They actually just played in Lodo today, or Lodos, the bar, and they've been everywhere. They're going to play Red Rocks this summer, and have been all around Europe. So I think that's probably the consensus, is like they're hot right now.
Are they going to be the local town band that's going to make it good?
I think so. Yeah, the barroom band that blows up.
Yeah, it's done. It's already happened. Yeah, I think there's a reputation for Denver as being all about bluegrass, like you said, and EDM. But now, the current line.
EDM?
Yes, yes, electronic dance music.
Yeah,
Dylan, electronic dance music.
It's like the coolest. It's the coolest stuff to listen to.
No,
yeah, it's like our grandkids, their weddings are going to be full of like just EDM DJs probably.
Oh God, I'm glad I'll be dead. So what is big right now?
Well, those two things are both obviously super popular and draw huge crowds. You see these big festivals and shows at Red Rocks, and those are ones that consistently just sell out. But there's much more than that.
It seems that there's the tribute era, to see the old bands before they die. I'll be going to see The Who, my favorite band, before they die, and Sting will be here with Peter Gabriel and Fleetwood Mac. I mean, these are the revival shows that we're living our heyday with. But then there's a whole nother level of local music. What's the difference? How do these bands stay alive, given that there's no recording? It's all pretty much live music, since they really don't make money selling records anymore.
It's a great point. I mean, that's the model. That's the new model. Really, recorded music is just a way to get your name out there. It's the equivalent of slapping flyers on telephone poles. And now you just have to be constantly on tour. You have to be on the road, and getting yourself in people's faces and getting that ticket money in your pocket.
It's brutal. I mean, this is the world I remember, and we were joking before that rock and roll's a young man's game, and it is, because it's a grind.
But the ones making the money are the veterans who have these massive tours. I mean, I wonder how Fleetwood Mac would feel if you said, well, I just have to see them before they die. Do you think that those artists think of themselves that way?
Have you seen Mick Fleetwood?
Yes.
It could happen any time now. He could drop like that. No, but the point being, to be a musician now, the dream of that big contract payoff is not what it used to be. I remember when Big Head Todd signed with Warner Brothers, I forget the sub-label, and that was a big thing to do. That didn't guarantee that we're going to make money off of royalties.
Yeah.
Remember the Subdudes, great band, back in my day, and they got an Atlantic contract, and by the end of their contract, they owed more money to Atlantic than they were getting in royalties. It's a deal with the devil. So now it's all live music.
It's no guarantee. Yeah, the myth of sort of the big money deal is so few and far between, even more so now than it ever was. And I think it makes musicians at sort of the same level as other types of artists who sort of can't guarantee that they're ever going to make a lot of money. So the goal for musicians is to find a place they can live and actually eat while continuing to make their work.
And is Denver a place where they can live and eat?
Well, that's the worry. I think it has been for so long, which is why we have such a thriving music scene. But now there is a lot of anxiety around affordable housing and that sort of thing, because it's directly affecting artists and musicians.
All right, so if people want to go see shows, I mean, I knew back in the day when to go and where to go, but what are some of the places that you can see these acts?
Yeah, well,
where should guys be keeping an eye on?
It depends on what you're into, you know. If you're super hip like me,
Yeah.
then you go to the High Dive and you drink really cheap beer. And you don't talk to anybody, you know, you stand in the corner.
Stand there and look cool.
Yeah, absolutely. That's all you need to do.
Oh, that some hot chick goes, oh, he's so aloof.
Oh my God, yeah.
Let's go talk to a real person now. What's your favorite music venue?
I also like the High Dive. But I also go to Larimer Lounge a lot, which is a similar venue in that it's sort of this smaller size rock venue where you can see actual like well-known names, but you can also see your favorite bands as they're on their way
What's
up.
some of those well-known names?
Like Sebadoh played Larimer Lounge recently, so like Jay Mascis. That it's like 90s, like big 90s alternative rock. No. No?
Larimer, yeah, I mean, like, that's still a pretty small venue.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're talking about. All right.
Red Rocks.
Red Rocks.
Red Rocks is my favorite.
Have you heard of that? Yeah.
I've been there once or twice.
Okay.
I found lights there. It's a great place
nice.
to light up.
Yeah.
It's cool stuff.
I bet.
All right. There's always been these bands from Colorado and Denver, Boulder that get pretty big, but not astronomically big. There were the Astronauts in the 60s. There were Firefall in the 70s. There was Big Ed Todd in the 90s. Nathaniel Raycliffe and the Night Sweats. Now, you know, we haven't quite had the Rolling Stones come out of Denver. Is the one going to pop out of here, or is Denver always going to be that second-class rock and roll city?
No. Denver is not a second-class rock and roll
Why
city.
not?
Let's just say that. Just the wealth of talent. But I think that
It's not Austin. It's not Chicago. It's not New York. It's not LA. Those I would think would be if you are into the scene, those are the places you'd want to be.
Yeah, but those places are built from people moving there to be part of the scene, and we do have that happening here in Denver. So it's emergent for sure.
Yeah.
But I think one thing that Denver has had working against it for local bands is geography. So we're a destination for like national touring acts who have to stop sort of, you know, on their way to the West Coast, this and that, and people want to stop here. But for people who live here, it's difficult when you just have your rented van to actually get to drive these long distances to build your fan base and like do small scale touring. Whereas if you're based in New York, you can hop around to all these cities like very close by.
Yeah, I would also say, I mean, there's a stat, 100,000 people have moved to Denver in the last 12 months. And I know for a fact, talking to bookers at venues, that a lot of those people are bands. There's a huge...
Hookers?
Bookers.
Bookers,
yeah. Don't talk to those people. Yeah, so, you know, like, I talked to these guys, and they basically said they used to get maybe 1 or 2 emails a month with a band that's from out of town, and they want to get plugged into the Denver music scene, and now they're getting that like 1 or 2 a week and even more. So you're getting a lot more bands coming in from out of town, and Denver, I think, as a result, is becoming a bigger music scene because of it.
All right, here's the disconnect, is that you guys are out there, you're young, you're hip, one of you is really good looking, and you're able... Stop. And you know you're there every day. For somebody who, you know, kind of knows what they like but can't translate that into today's musical names, is there some sort of translator where you go, you know, I used to listen to Little Feat and the Band and Badfinger, who would I like? Or I used to listen to glam rock. I used to listen to Iggy Pop. Who would I like? Is there any way that somebody who's not plugged into the names you're plugged into can get a sense of which band they ought to go check out?
Yeah, it's actually funny that you mentioned that. We're going to start a series on our website, heyreverb.com, that will kind of do exactly that. That'll kind of bring in people that aren't so familiar and aren't geeking out about music like we are so hard into our scene a little bit, because there's a lot of great analogs for bands like that. You have Arclife, who's very much like the band, I think. Mm-hmm. And who doesn't like the band? You know,
who doesn't like the band?
They're one of the best. Yeah, so we're going to be rolling that out, and I think that'll be a good way for people to kind of get their foot in the door of the Denver music scene a little bit more.
Yeah, and speaking of programs associated with our publications, the Westword Music Showcase every year is a great spotlight on more than 100 local bands. And the nominees, the ballot for voting for the Westword Music Awards is out now, and they're conveniently separated into categories, so you can check out what are the 6 Americana bands that 200 or more of Denver plugged in people have voted as the most noteworthy of the scene. And then you do a little searching online, you check out the music, which is so accessible now on the internet, and you know, try out, listen to a few songs, and then you can see them live.
That's a real difference. We've only got a minute or so left, but as a kid, you listen to the DJ. The DJ told you what you were going to listen to. If you still listen to radio, that's somewhat the case, you know, nationally with the syndicated radio. But in the real world now, that's gone. Everything is self-created. Your music lists. Where do you go? You know, what's the good place to tune in or to find the new music? Is there a station? Are you a Pandora guy? What do you do?
You know, I mean, I think the obvious answer would be our respective websites, probably, which I will plug again, heyreverb.com. And, you know, I don't know, you know, you got to dig deep for that kind of stuff, and I think Spotify...
Your mother must be so embarrassed of you.
She's watching right now.
Oh, is she? Oh, she must really like you.
I would say CPR Open Air. I just moved here in the fall, and that was the first station that I programmed into my car radio, so that because they're playing a lot of Colorado-centric music and new music.
There's also KUNC has what is it, the Colorado Sound? I forget.
Yeah, they just
105.1
launched
or
a
something.
new all-music station with a Colorado focus.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for coming.
Yes,
Thank you.
You will never be invited here or anywhere I am ever again.
Oh, man. Well, I'll just have to show up uninvited.
Yeah, like you did today.
Exactly.
Don't read heyreverb.com.
Yeah, don't go to heyreverb.com.
It's the worst.
But do go to independenceinstitute.org. Check me out on KHOW Radio. Tell a friend about the Independence Institute, and by all means, we'll see you next week.